Alrighty, I think it has begun. Okay. I guess I'll just wait for some people to come through. Alright. We'll just wait here or something or other. Maybe. Alright. If you are in fact here, if you could just, say something or other in the chat, that'd be great. Just know we can get this bad boy started. Shouldn't take too long. I think we'll be, getting it off the ground pretty soon. I'm just wondering, is there anyone there? If you could just say something or other, that would be good. I know we're reaching Inception levels on the actual feed here, but right, we're 2 minutes in, there's 2 people there. We could probably get a start on things. I'll just wait until 3 minutes, I suppose, just to see if you are in the thing here, if you could just send a message through just to see how things are going, that would be useful. Then we can get started after that. Okay, perfect. Yes, we have one. That's perfect. Alrighty, thank you, Declan. Thank you, Ben Oswald. Okay, it is now time for the 2025 Film Retrospective. This is where I'm going to talk about all of the 2025 movies that I saw last year, and also some of the games that I got last year, and also some of the movies that I thought were really, really good, that I saw last year, but they weren't necessarily made last year. I guess just before we start, we can say that in terms of the channel in 2025, it was going very good, much better than it was in the first year, especially the last month. I'm pretty sure in the last month of the channel, it grew around about the same amount as the previous 11. For some reason, you guys really like Gemini, and I'm definitely not complaining about that. Alrighty, I guess without further ado, we may as well just jump straight on into it. Okay, so yes, first section of the 3 sections is the 2025 movies. Now, last year I saw 12 of them, which is not much at all, especially since some of those were like just released in Australia and were incredibly small. But this time I saw, I think, around about 30. So, yeah, I guess let's just get straight into it. Oh yeah, so TV shows, there'll be TV shows, but I don't watch that many TV shows. I think there's just 2 of them in this section here, so yeah. Alrighty, first one we have on the list is Future Council. Now, Future Council was released in August 2024, in some places, but I think in Australia, which is where I am, it was released in 2025, so I decided to include it. So, Future Council is not one that I watched on my own. It was one that I watched because it was for school. And just for reference, I'm sure you can tell, but I'm not 12. And I'm going to be honest, I think you kind of have to be younger than that in order to enjoy this movie. The whole idea around this movie is that you can see this guy here that I'm waving my mouse at is taking these, I think, 8 kids on a bus ride around Australia. Or actually, it might not be Australia. He's taking them on a bus ride around their country, and they're going to speak with a bunch of CEOs and a bunch of people who know about regeneration. And what they're doing is they're going to try and convince them that they need to think about the planet more. They need to think about keeping things renewable, keeping things regenerative, and just basically making a lot of good decisions such as those. However, the thing about this is that when you start to think about it, you kind of start to realize that throughout the entire movie, they don't get anything done. And sure, if you are the target audience of the movie, which I think is maybe 6 to 11-year-old range, then this is a fine movie, and this is an inspiring movie. It's a movie that really tells you to fight back. But the problem is, these kids are fighting back and they're not getting anything done. So if you're watching it above that age group, then you're just noticing that, and that's not a good feeling. That's not empowering at all to watch these people spend a couple of months literally going around the world talking to a bunch of people who are involved in this stuff, and they just get nothing done at all. So that was a shame. I also thought that it was really weird because I never knew if it was a documentary or a story throughout the entire thing. It ended up being a documentary. These kids actually did that, but the filmmaking conventions and almost practically story structure felt fiction. And I don't know, it just made it a weird viewing experience overall. This is one of the most interestingly, I mean, I wouldn't really want to call it bad necessarily, but I do think that it is noticeably flawed, and it's interesting to look into all of that, even though it is just really frustrating, and it was a really annoying one to watch. Okay, anyways, now we're done with Future Council. We have The Count of Monte Cristo, which I can tell you is much better. This is another one that I released in France in 2024, but in Australia, I think it was April 2025 that it came out. I saw this one at a very special cinema. I had to go 40-50 minutes away from my home to go watch it, and it was a thing I did with my family. It was very cool, but this movie is entirely in French. It is based off of the book The Count of Monte Cristo, which is basically about this guy who just takes revenge on the people who took the love of his life and years of his life because they framed him for murder. And they took that all from him, and he goes back and gets revenge. It's a very standard story, but it's a very good story. And yeah, it's 3.5 hours long, which is Avatar movie length. But I do think this one earns it. There is a lot that goes on in the book. I think the book itself is 1,000 pages long in very small font. So the movie definitely justifies its length. Interesting to hear that you have read the book. Because I could not imagine reading a book that long. I mean, I guess I could. It'd just take me insanely long. I'm not a fast reader. Anyways, the movie itself looks gorgeous, dude. It is such a good looking movie. The lighting and the colors and the sets and the costumes, they all look fantastic to look at. So if nothing else, it is good to watch just to see these interesting story moments play out under this just literally gorgeous lighting. I thought that the story itself is clearly a very good story because it's still being remembered a couple hundred years later, but it really played out well here. The movie definitely got the pacing down right, so that even though it was 3.5 hours long, there wasn't really any parts that felt especially boring. I guess you could say right at the end I was feeling a bit tired, but that's just gonna happen when you have a movie that long. You really get to see each of this guy's plans play out one after the other. You get to understand how they work, how each of these people that he's targeting are affected. And it's there's a good portion of the movie where he's just in jail, and that part is also they just keep the story going, and it's a very strong way of storytelling. This is one that I didn't know much about going in, but I'm very glad I saw. And yeah, I definitely recommend it, but I'd recommend maybe watching it in parts because yeah, it is a really flippin' long one. Should I be giving ratings? I'll give ratings to these things. I've already given them ratings on Letterboxd, which you should definitely look into. You should look in my Letterboxd account. Anyways, I'll say I gave this one a 9 out of 10, which is, yeah, that's pretty high for me. It's one of my favorite releases of the year. Alrighty, so now we're getting into the movies that were released worldwide in 20... Actually, no, never mind. Paddington in Peru does not... It released worldwide in 2024, but in Australia, it released, I'm not joking, 1st of January 2025, and I watched it 1st of January 2025. I'm not even that much of, like, a Paddington head. It just turned out that I was able to watch a movie in the cinemas on January 1st, 2025, and Paddington in Peru was there, and I was like, yeah, we should do this one. Just for reference, Paddington 2 is, like, one of my favorite movies ever made, and I'm not joking when I say that. It is unironically one of the most fun, enjoyable movies I've seen. And the first Paddington is also a very fun one, but I've seen that one less. So I was going into this one expecting that I was going to enjoy it, and that is precisely what I did. I definitely wasn't expecting something on the same level as, like, Paddington 2, because if you haven't seen it, Paddington 2 is, like, really strong emotionally. Like, you end up caring for these characters, and you want to see this good old bear, like, finally make things good. It is fine, but I did enjoy it. A lot of what makes this movie work is Antonio Banderas. I love it when this guy is on screen. He's always super fun. He always really gets into the roles. It's great to see this guy act, and I think he does a very good job here. This movie is silly, dude. Like, as I was saying before, the first two Paddingtons were emotional, and they weren't serious per se, but they did have, like, really strong messages about family and whatnot. This one isn't really like that. It throws in a bit of that at the end, but it's really just watching Paddington go through Peru and, like, trying to find this treasure. And honestly, I like these characters so much that I really couldn't care less. It's just a fun time to go through. If you want to put on something that you could watch with your grandma or your parents or something like that, this is a very easy one to put on. It's obviously got a younger demographic, but I don't know, I think it's still enjoyable even if you're outside of that younger demographic. So, yeah, I don't really have many issues with Paddington in Peru. Oh yeah, there is one thing that is quite sad. In the previous movie, Sally Hawkins played the mother, and she is, like, fantastic. She's practically built for that flippin' role. And in this movie, I don't know, I think she just didn't sign on for a third one, and so they had to get someone else. And, like, she's alright, but she's not Sally Hawkins. Sally Hawkins really fits the role. Anyways, it's sad that we're not going to be seeing Sally Hawkins movies again in this stream. That's very sad that there will be no Sally Hawkins movies moving forward. Anyways, now we have the first 2025 worldwide release. I'm pretty sure this one didn't come out in 2024 anywhere. So Mickey 17, this is an interesting one. So this is a movie directed by Bong Joon-ho. I think that's how it's pronounced anyways. And he is known for Parasite, which is one of the biggest critically acclaimed movies of the 2010s. And I'm going to be honest, I hadn't seen any other Bong Joon-ho movies before going into this one. And I can tell you, I was looking forward to it, because my expectations were Soma. My expectations were literally just, it's going to be a sci-fi psychological horror dealing with, like, worries about existence and whatnot. And considering I'd literally just played Soma, like, a month ago when I saw this, I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this one a bunch because it's Soma again. It was not. Bong Joon-ho movies are weird, dude. They kind of remind me a bit of Wes Anderson or maybe Paul Thomas Anderson, where they're just kind of odd. And I wasn't expecting that going in, and I was disappointed by it because it meant that all of the things that I was personally just looking forward to didn't end up happening. That's not really a criticism on the movie itself. That's more so just me being disappointed. The movie itself, though, is like, it's got a very weird feeling and pacing, because, like, the introduction into everything that's going on really takes like 40 minutes. And then there's like a 20-minute section where this guy learns about how he's being cloned. Oh, I should explain what happens in the actual plot. So the whole idea around Mickey 17 is that this guy Mickey joins to this space program as I think it's it's not called rejectable, but it's something like that. It means he can be destroyed. So they clone him, and they like have all his data, and whenever they need to encounter something dangerous, they just throw him at it to get more data, and if he dies, then they just print out a new version of him. So, and basically from there, what I was assuming what was going to happen is that he was going to, encounter Mickey 17 was going to encounter Mickey 18, which did happen in the movie. They were going to be like, what's going on, like creepy stuff. That's not really what happened. Once they meet Mickey 18, he has a very different personality, and it never feels like he's Mickey 17. Expendable, yes, Expendable, that's the name, which is self-explanatory. Anyways, so kind of like things go on, then like Mickey's girlfriend, like it gets it's just weird, and then moving forward, it's this odd movie because Mickey gets saved early on in the movie by this alien species, and then basically the final conflict of the movie, like the main thing that goes on, is this evil, comically evil emperor type thing, just basically putting war against this species. I'm honestly like, I was just really confused throughout the whole thing because I didn't really know what it was getting at. That might just be a me being dumb thing, but I do honestly think that this one just wasn't that effective with what it was trying to do. But I'm not sure for certain though. It was just, and it also had weird messaging because basically the main thing at the end, the main message felt like it was that colonialism or like taking over people is bad, and like no, it's not good. I don't think that's something you have to convince anyone on. I don't know, this is just a very weird movie. It does look very good, and I don't know, it just looks very good, and I feel like I don't rate it that lowly because I feel like I might be missing something. But yeah, this is one I gave a 6 out of 10 when I first watched it. Okay, next one. The Accountant 2. Okay, interesting. I saw the first Accountant in 2025, and I didn't love it, but that's mainly because I think I was just in a bad mood when I was watching the last part of it, so that's not really fault on the movie's end. So the first Accountant is a pretty strong movie overall. I do like this whole thing. The whole thing is that it's basically an action movie, where the main gimmick is that this main character has like autism, like pretty high level, I think, but it's kind of like a savant because he's great with numbers, like the accountant. So that was interesting to watch in the first movie. The first movie had an interesting feeling and vibe and mystery about it, and it was good to see it all play out. Had a twist at the end, which I thought was pretty sweet, and yeah, it was overall a strong movie. And I will say it wasn't like a serious movie per se, but it did have like a definite tone that wasn't really wacky. The Accountant 2 has a definite tone that is wacky. When I first saw it, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think I'd lower it to a 6 now, like a 6, 7 out of 10. But I enjoy this one, even if I don't think it's the best. Like, without a doubt, the main part of it that is unironically good is the brotherly rapport. Like these two actors, I believe it's Ben Affleck and Bernthal. I can't remember his first name. Both play off of each other really well. They have some great conversations. The actual scene that you can see where they're both on top of the caravan, which you can see in the background right here, is probably the best scene in the movie. And it's just like very cool to see them being able to do all of that together. It's like I said before, this is wacky. There's like a scene in the movie where they get literally like a whole clan of like savants to just like break into the mainframe and whatnot. Like it's not being serious. And yeah, I'd say that I had fun with it, but I don't have too much to say about it. So I think we can probably just move on. Adolescence, this is, John Bernthal. God, you're giving me all of the extra notes, thank you. Adolescence, okay, let's go. So this is the first this is the first TV show, that we have on the list. I think there's only 2 of them in the 2025 section, because I seriously don't watch that many TV shows. With that said, though, Adolescence really just functions as, like, a 3.5-hour movie, because it's 4 episodes long. They're all 50 minutes long, and it's just basically that. There's time skips in between the episodes, but it really just functions as a movie. And let me tell you, this is one of my favorite things that I saw all year. This is one of the few things I saw from 2025 that I would give a 10 out of 10, because wow, like flippin' wow, dude. This one feels so like unflinchingly realistic due to a lot of things. I'm sure if you've heard of this before, actually I'll explain the plot, just I keep on forgetting to do that. Adolescence starts with these like police people breaking into the house of this, I think he's 13 years old, and arresting him on suspicion of murder. And the whole movie is basically just figuring out if he did the murder. If he did the murder, figuring out why he would have done it. He goes through psychological evaluations, seeing the effect it has on the family and the school and whatnot, and just basically going through the motions of all of that. And the way that they make it feel so realistic is that, first off, each episode is one long take. Each episode is one 50-minute long take, which not only is super cool to see, but it also makes things feel more realistic, and it's also just insanely impressive in its own right. The next thing it does is that it doesn't really tie up plot points in a sense. Like, I was expecting early on in the movie, they say that they showed this footage of this murder victim being killed, and what I was expecting to happen was that it would turn out that because we didn't see Jamie's face in the recording, who is the main character, that it was going to turn out to be one of his friends wearing his jacket. But that's not what happens. They set up plot points, and then they don't resolve them in a way that's cinematic. They just resolve them in a way that makes sense and is realistic, and that's really cool to see. And the next one is the performances. You can see behind you, that's Jamie there, who is the main character, and that is, I can't remember her name, but she's the psycho-analysis to see if he's like feeling sorry about what he's doing, about if he's like showing any signs of remorse and whatnot. And specifically their performances are just out of this world, so goddamn realistic. Pretty sure Jamie, Owen Cooper, who played Jamie, won an Emmy, and that was so well deserved, dude. The dad too is just like such an honest person, and like he has this really emotional scene right at the end, which is like insanely effective. This series is just such a powerful statement on like how people convince themselves that what they're doing is the right thing to do, and especially with all of the dangers that we've seen with, you know, like Andrew Tate's type stuff, you know, red pilled content. It's really cool to watch all of this play out, and I love seeing everything happen here. Episode 3 especially, it's literally 50 minutes of these two having a conversation. Nothing else happens, and it is one of the coolest things I've seen in any TV show of all time. The dialogue, acting, the cinematography, it just all comes together, dude. This is definitely one that I'd recommend you watch. I will say, though, that it is definitely... it's intense. It's an intense series, and there are definitely scenes that are scary. This kid, Owen Cooper, has some pretty terrifying moments where you see the mask slip and just fully see what this guy thinks about what he's done. And the fact that he's committed the crime isn't really too much of a surprise. So that shouldn't be too bad of a spoiler. Anyways, going from one peak to another, the Minecraft movie, am I right, Ayo? Oh yeah, I didn't like the Minecraft movie at all, or a Minecraft movie. It doesn't matter, whatever. This movie frustrated me like a whole freaking lot, dude. There were constantly memes about how long the Minecraft movie was taking to make, and now it's finally come out. Didn't feel like they put much time into it at all. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. This was the first movie I saw of the year that I like actively disliked, because I saw Future Council later. And so what I got from this movie is that it was just like seriously lazy. Like, they didn't actually want to make a good movie. They just wanted to make something that would be popular and in the general zeitgeist. Because this movie just basically relied a lot on memes in order for it to be effective. There was obviously like the chicken jockey meme, there was I Am Steve, things like that, yada yada yada. It's just, When you end up watching it, it stops feeling like a movie and more just like a compilation of memes from this movie, because it's a comedy, but all of the comedy just comes from random stuff happening. It just isn't that funny. Um, Obviously, like, I doubt the story was the main thing here, but the story and characters, just obviously there's nothing to gain from it. It's one of the most generic fantasy adventures, like kids movies, that I've seen in a while. It's literally just these kids going through finding a MacGuffin and yada yada yada. Um, I think Jack Black is like having fun as Steve, so I'll give him that. Jason Momoa, I didn't mind his character either. Um, this kid, I can't remember his name. He was just kind of a bit weird, because his whole thing was that he was like trying to be creative, and I don't know. It's like he just kind of breaks the rules of Minecraft in order to be creative. So I don't know if this movie likes Minecraft or if it doesn't. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like like she's fine, but this character is like has no reason to be in the movie. So yeah, I don't know. This movie was like, I walked into the theater and I watched the intro with like holding back my laughter, because I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this movie. And then yeah, Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison. That's thank you. And basically as soon as that intro section ended, I stopped laughing and did not laugh again for the entirety of the movie. Yeah, I don't care about the characters' names in this one. This is just such a frustrating movie. And look, in a way, it's kind of like, I feel like this isn't the kind of movie that we should be okay with. I don't know how much money this made, but it's seriously sad that this is working. I don't know. This movie just, I did not enjoy watching this movie, and it's the main dud, one of the main duds of the year for me, not the main one. Okay, now moving forward, we have our other series, Black Mirror Season 7. So I watched through all of this when it came out, and I made a few videos on it as well. I made a video about USS Callister number 2, where I talked about Jesse Plemons' character, John Daly, and I made a video where I ranked all of the episodes and went in depth there. And I'll tell you, this one got worse over time for me. This one I thought was pretty good originally, and the more I think about it, the more I'm realizing that that was just me being hopeful that this series was going to be good. I feel like I'd give the overall series, like, this is going to sound like a meme, but like a 6 or 7 out of 10. And a lot of the things that I originally just kind of passed off as okay weren't really okay. There were specifically 3 episodes that got considerably worse for me since I made the ranking video, and those were the bottom 3 places. So those 3 were Hotel Reverie, which is like about this movie actress who goes into this digital world where she can do a remake of an old movie. There was also Bete Noir, which is it's just basically gaslighting, but like kind of filtered through technology lens. And finally, the last one that got worse was USS Callister number 2, which I was surprised a lot of people liked, because it was just not a strong follow-up to the original, in my opinion. The original, like, was in space and exciting, yes, but the main interesting thing about it was John Daly's character, and how he was like a really disgusting guy. And yeah, I don't know, they just didn't really keep on going with that moving forward. So the main things that did stay the same quality for me were my 2 favorite episodes, which, if you saw the video I did ranking the series, you'll know that that was good. Common People and Eulogy. Common People was really scary, and it remains to be really scary to this day, and I like it for that. And Eulogy used to be really sweet, and it's still really sweet, and it's just overall a really good story. So I don't really have too much to say that I didn't say in the other videos, but I will just say that, like, it's definitely better than Season 5, and I think it might be better than Season 6, but it definitely wasn't reaching the highs that, previous seasons were, and I'm not sure the series ever will. So, anyways, moving forward, we have The Amateur. This is one that kind of left me a little bit disappointed, because I saw the trailers for this one, and the only thing I knew about it, because usually an actor or a director, or like one of the people involved. The only person I knew was this guy, who I still can't place the name of, and I'm not really worried about placing the name of. But this one was weird to me. The trailers made it look really good. The trailers made it look like this guy was like going to go rogue, and he was going to set up a bunch of elaborate traps, and he was going to be like just basically setting everything up and using his skills. It was going to be a little bit of a comedy because this guy doesn't really know what he's doing, but it was also going to be intense. That's not really what happened. I feel like this movie just kind of falls flat eventually, because what it ends up doing is that it's just kind of computer talk for an hour and a half. It's just kind of these people going, we're going to take the USB code and put it into the Python programmer, and then we can use the adapter to triangulate their position. And it's just like that's a lot of the movie, dude. Like, a lot of the movie is just them saying computer stuff, and it doesn't really mean anything. And it was, like, really frustrating to go through and watch all of that, because, like, I don't really care, dude. But anyways, that's not the worst thing in the world. This movie was fine. I thought it was going to be pretty great, but it turned out being just kind of fine, and I don't really think about it anymore. The main thing I enjoyed about it was, like, right at the end, there's a bit of an analysis of this main guy's character. And I thought that was interesting. It was interesting to see him finally get there. But I thought it was going to be more than just a generic action movie, and that's precisely what it was. So, disappointing, but, you know, oh well. Okay, now we are moving to I think one of the biggest movies of the year, Sinners. If you haven't heard of Sinners, you need to hear about Sinners, because this movie is insane and it's awesome and you need to watch it. Just to like kind of set things up, the movie starts off in I think it's like Jim Crow era America, and this main character, he has a twin sibling, and the two brothers, played by the same guy by the way, are setting up this like party essentially. And I know it sounds weird, but it definitely fits better in the movie. They're collecting all of these different people, like they're apologizing if they did something wrong, and the first hour of the movie is just setting up all these characters. And then I won't spoil what happens later on in the movie, but I will say that the second half of this movie takes a very sudden left turn that completely changes what is going on, and it turns into one of the most insane, crazy action movies that I have seen in my life. I gave this movie an 8 out of 10 when I first saw it. I could very easily see it turning into a 9 out of 10 when I see it again, because this movie is well and truly insane in like the best way possible. Hold on. Oh yeah, I keep on forgetting to do ratings and plot summaries. So actually, I'll just go back real quick. Future Cancer was a 4 out of 10. Count of Monte Cristo was a 9 out of 10. Paddington in Peru was a 7 out of 10. Mickey 17, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Accountant 2 is another 6 out of 10. Adolescence is a 10. Minecraft Movie is a 3. Black Mirror is 6 or 7 out of 10. And Amateur is a 5 out of 10 in my opinion. It's just kind of whatever. Okay, Sinners, however, yeah, 8, but could very easily turn into a 9 out of 10. This movie is just like, it's one of the most like movies, and I'm using quotation marks, one of the most movies that we get all year. It's just like such a solid story, and it's told through such a solid way with great filmmaking, great acting, and like just really solid the whole way through. This is the kind of movie I reckon a lot of people would like. As long as you're okay with a little bit of gore, then you're probably going to enjoy this movie. And I think there's a lot to get out of it. Try not to search up what happens in the second half, because seriously, it is so awesome to watch it all play out. I guess I don't have much else to say about it. It's just a really solid movie, and I loved watching it. Okay, next up we have got Thunderbolts. Now this is a Marvel movie, and usually Marvel movies aren't fully my thing. Not because of like a cinephile sense, it's just I've just kind of just fatigued with them, I suppose. But this one was getting a lot of really high reviews, and people were saying, is the MCU back? So I decided, yeah, you know what, I'll check this one out. Maybe this one will be good. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the best thing in the world. Marvel has a very weird way of storytelling. You'll notice I bring up storytelling a fair bit. Movies like Sinners or series like Adolescence are really strong with their storytelling because they just have a solid pace. They always let you understand what is going on. But movies like this, they kind of assume you have knowledge and focus on strange things. And I wasn't too invested in what was happening because I was a little bit confused throughout the whole thing. The main villain is probably the best example of this. We're introduced to him and we know very little about him. We just know that he's like involved with this facility. He just literally pops up out of nowhere. And then he has this like huge display of power, and then he's like taking control of, and I feel like I never really got to know what he actually wanted. He just kind of gets manipulated, and then eventually he turns into this black void type thing, which you've probably seen shorts about. But it's just kind of a little bit strange, and I never was really too invested in what was happening. This might be because I hadn't seen previous Marvel movies, and I know a lot of these characters are from those movies, but I vaguely knew who they were. I did know the main character because I saw Hawkeye a while ago, but yeah, I don't know. This one didn't work that well for me. But I am glad that at least the people are enjoying it and people are getting things out of it. I'd give it a 6 out of 10, but I'm glad that other people liked it more. So, anyways, Nonas. This is if you go back far enough, the closest heritage I have that isn't just like Australian is Italian. So let me tell you, I enjoyed watching this movie a whole heckin' heap. Hold on one second. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyways, Nonnas is a very fun movie. It is just this guy setting up this restaurant where it's all like meals made by Italian grandmas and made by nonnas. And the whole movie is just him setting up that, and it's just like, oh, I don't know if the business is gonna work. And then his friend is like, you know what, we're gonna make it work, and I believe in you. And he's just like, thank you. And then there's a little bit of a third act breakup, and then they get back together because they figured out they love each other, and then all the nonnas end up getting along and being happy. It's a very wholesome, fun movie. It is the perfect movie to watch with your grandma. I will say that. This is such a good movie to watch with your grandma. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, but it's like in my heart, it is a 10 out of 10 because it's just so happy and fun. Like, obviously, it's nothing insane. There's nothing crazy done. It's like got generic writing, but it didn't need anything more. It's just really simple. It knows it's small scale. It plays into it, and it is such a likable flipping movie. I will say though, I don't cry when I watch movies. I haven't done that in, I think, like a couple of years. But the closest I got this year was watching the envelope scene right at the end of this movie. That was some sweet stuff. That was some awesome crap. Anyways, Nona's banger movie. Loved it a lot. You should watch it if you want to feel happy for like an hour or so, because that's what this movie does. Okay, very tonally different, Bring Her Back is from Nona's. Oh my god, I didn't realize these two were right next to each other because, oh my god, what a different movie, dude. This was a movie I watched as part of this, I wouldn't really call it a marathon, this horror movie jog that I did with my friends on Halloween. We saw this and two other movies. We saw Bring Her Back, Longlegs, and Get Out. And out of all of them, I'd have to say Bring Her Back was my favorite and one of the best movie releases I've seen all year. This is one of my friends' like 10 out of 10 movies. Probably, I think it's his favorite movie of 2025. But I saw it and I totally get that. Before, I was mentioning with which one was it? I was mentioning with Thunderbolts about storytelling. This one has maybe my favorite storytelling and pacing and writing. And not necessarily writing, but definitely pacing of the entire year. It just keeps on going. Like, it just keeps on building up more and more mystery and intrigue about what's truly happening here. And by the time the climax comes around, it just feels so, like, intense and like, holy crap, things are going down. It is such an awesome experience watching this movie start to finish. This beforehand, remember how beforehand I said that it's sad we're not going to see a Sally Hawkins movie again? Well, I lied. The Sally Hawkins movie is right here. Sally Hawkins plays the evil mother in this one, and oh my god, she is incredible in this. She's such a good actress. I love watching her so much. There is like some gore in this one, and it's the first time I've watched a movie where I actually like enjoyed the gore. I thought the gore in this one was like really disgusting and intense, and it worked really well for what it was trying to do. And just overall, this is like it's such a crazy movie. There's a scene like right at the end in the climax with this car, and at that point I was just like, okay, hands down, this is some of the best crap I've seen all year. I will say that it goes for like a sad ending, and that makes sense given the messaging, but I did enjoy the movies I saw with a more scary ending. You'll notice later on I bring up Hereditary and Midsommar. Those are movies with much more like ominous and scary endings, but this one is a bit more of a sad one. That's not as much my vibe. Final thing I'll say about this movie, it's good to see a very high quality movie that has genuine Australian accents in them. That's the last thing I'll say about it. This movie is a 9 out of 10, and I love it to bits. Okay, another very big tonal whiplash from Bring Her Back. We got Lilo and Stitch. Wow. I'll preface this by saying that I hate live action remakes a lot. I just really don't like them at all, dude. They're such, like, they're creatively bankrupt, and I really don't like seeing whenever they do so well, and I'm kind of disappointed I saw this one. At the very least, I didn't see it in cinemas, so I guess that's kind of absolving what's going on. But yeah, Lilo and Stitch, dude. This one is just bad. Like, it's like it wouldn't be as bad if it was original, but watching it, I'm just thinking, okay, why am I not watching the original Lilo and Stitch? This is just like, it's just watching these two, and it's the exact same story, except with worse acting, worse visuals, and, like, worse storytelling. It's just not good, and they just made changes, and none of them were really that good to the story. Like, the original one is pretty good from memory. I haven't seen it in a while, but it was pretty emotionally effective. This one just, like, isn't. It just isn't that. And I just don't see any reason why you would watch it. And like I said before, I'm disappointed in myself that I did, because I don't want to watch more live-action remakes than I have to, dude. This one already made $600 million, and that is a fact that is so sad to me, because, like, despite being, like, a very high-quality movie made by one of the largest filmmaking companies in the world, it looks bloody cheap. And, like, look, I'm not, the main actress playing Lilo in this is 6 years old, so it's not her fault that her acting isn't bloody Oscar-worthy level. But still, it just takes me a bit out of the movie, because in animation, you can get the characters to move and, like, act and make expressions whichever way you want, and that just doesn't happen in this movie. And again, no hate to the actress, that's just how things work. That's what's going to happen when you make a live-action remake. Why do we need these, dude? Oh my god, hopefully this is the last live-action remake that we see on the list. Anyways, The Phoenician Scheme. Okay, so I mentioned before how I think, yeah, Bong Joon-ho is like Wes Anderson. I also don't really get Wes Anderson movies. They just kind of don't work for me. Like, I like how the shots look, and I like how the colors look, and I like how everything looks, but I don't actually, like, particularly enjoy, like, what's happening. I'm not particularly invested in the characters or the story, and especially by the end, I was just kind of confused. And I thought that this one was going to be different. I was watching it, like, at the start, and I was thinking, okay, I'm kind of getting into the rhythm of things. This guy's going to a bunch of different family members, and he's, like, trying to get different amounts of money from them. It's got a rhythm to it. It's got structure. I can get invested in this. And by the end, I was just like, no, I don't know what's happening. I think it's just me being too dumb to watch Wes Anderson movies, but still, I just don't get that much out of these. And I watched it with people who usually like Wes Anderson movies more, and I don't think they enjoyed it as much. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say that this is, like, one of his worst ones, like, maybe just one of his weaker ones. It's just, I don't know, this one wasn't really my cup of tea, and that's more of just Wes Anderson's style, I think. Hold on, what else was I going to mention this? Oh yeah, I will say this one was one of the last movies that I saw of the year. I think it was the second last 2025 movie. So, you know, it's, like, I don't know. I enjoyed most of it, but by the end, I just didn't care that much. I will say, though, there's one shot of Benedict Cumberbatch, which was so funny that it almost made the entire movie watching experience worth it. So, I don't know. At least there's that. Hold on, I'll see if I can't pull it up. Benedict Cumberbatch GIF Phoenician Scheme. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. Is this going to play, or? Okay, never mind. It's not going to play. I don't know why GIFs don't work, but basically it looks like this. It's very funny. Just watch the entire movie just literally for that single shot, and it's probably going to be worth it. Okay, anyways, moving forward, we have Ballerina. I had not seen the previous John Wick movies, but my dad had, and he told me a little bit about, like, who she is and what's going on. You don't really need to know that much about John Wick in order to watch Ballerina. I'll also say that I watched this at a very late screening, and I was very tired when I saw it, so I was kind of missing what was going on. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt. Um, the main thing that I didn't love about it was, I think, the story. I think it was kind of had a weird feeling to it and a little bit weird pacing. But again, I was very tired, so I was probably missing some things. And the main good things were the fact that it was, had great cinematography. I remember thinking that. And also the action was really good, as you would expect in a John Wick movie. Yeah, honestly, that's like kind of it. Also, Ana de Armas plays the main character, and she's from Knives Out, and I flippin' love Knives Out, so yeah, I guess that's all good. Yeah, I don't know. Good movie. Good movie. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, Ballerina, good movie. I enjoyed it. You'll enjoy it if you like action movies and you can deal with a little bit of grenades, because this movie has a lot of flipping grenades. Okay, moving forward. How to Train Your Dragon 2025. I was seeing the ads for this one and I was thinking, oh my god, I can't see this. I'm going to hate its guts so much. But I was hanging out with a friend and it was his birthday party celebration. And he was like, yes, we need to watch a movie. Let's watch How to Train Your Dragon. And I was like, you know what? Sure, there are other people here. There is someone else who I can talk about this with. And I ended up watching it even though I really didn't want to. I went into it thinking, okay, this can be my 2 out of 10 movie. This can be the movie I well and truly hate. Because from the trailers, it just looked like the exact same movie. Like, there was literally nothing different. It was shot for shot in most spaces. Like, what's the point, dude? So I ended up watching it, and I ended up enjoying it. However, I only ended up giving it a 5 out of 10 when I came out, because the best way I can describe it is that this movie really captures the spirit of the original, and that is because it literally, like, just is the original. Like I said before, it's basically just a shot-for-shot remake, except it's somehow, like, a half hour longer. And, like, the main things that changed are that it looks realistic and, you know, good from that aspect. The designs look good. The Red Death scene is better because the Red Death looks freaking gigantic. And the acting is worse. That's not to say the actors were bad. The acting in the original movie was just really good, and these ones don't fully live up to it. And yeah, so I came out of this one thinking, wow, I really enjoyed myself, but, like, yeah, no crap. It's the same movie. If you liked the original, you like this, because there's, like, nothing's changed. I honestly, like, I'm kind of, like Lilo and Stitch, I'm honestly kind of disappointed that so many people are saying that this is, like, one of the best live-action remakes and that it's really, really good, because it's, like, it's just the same movie again. Like, I don't get me wrong, I also enjoyed it. I was feeling chills when that main theme kicked in. I was like flipping, I couldn't help myself smiling once, like, Hiccup came through on flipping Toothless. It was great. I enjoyed watching it. That doesn't mean that it's, like, a good movie, I don't think, because, like, hardly anything changed. Like, I think it's directed by the same guy, has a lot of these same actors, and it's just like what's the point, dude? Like, it's just the same movie done again. And like I was saying, it's sad that this is one of the main moneymakers. I think it made almost $600 million. Because, like, this is just creatively bankrupt, and I don't really know what to say about it. Okay, moving forward, we have Elio. I didn't expect to watch this one either, like How to Train Your Dragon. I figured, okay, this is a Pixar movie. I'm probably too old for these now. I'm probably not going to get that much out of it. And this one especially is definitely aimed at a younger demographic. But I'm surprised to say that it's actually kind of great. Like, I had a lot of fun watching this movie, and I did not expect to at all. It has that good old father-son plotline in it, and I am a sucker for a good father-son plotline. And yeah, this one does it well. I think this is just an overall nice movie. This is probably one of the ones I have the least to say about, because, like, I don't know, if you are babysitting someone who is within, like, a kind of younger age range, you can throw this one on and you'll enjoy it too. It's just, it's like a solid Disney Pixar movie, and it's pretty sad that this one didn't make a whole lot of money, but honestly, like, I kind of get why. This is a pretty unmemorable movie, and the marketing was not very good. But anyways, yeah, good movie, fun movie, enjoyed this movie. I liked this, like, bug character. I shockingly kind of enjoyed the villain, even though he's very generic. And the character designs aren't the best, but the animation obviously looks good. Moving on. Superman! This is one of the biggest movies of 2025, and a lot of people really liked it. I also really liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as a whole lot of people. I definitely had some issues. However, I do like a whole lot about it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, but like a very high 7 out of 10 at that. I'll preface this by saying that James Gunn is a very good director in my book. He makes a lot of good movies. He made the Guardians movies, which I flippin' love, and he made a lot of different movies. He's overall a good movie maker, and this is a good movie. The main issue with this one is that it's overstuffed. Like, there's definitely too much stuff going on in this one, and it means that a lot of seemingly important plot points are, like, just don't fully work for me. The best example, I think, is shockingly the one that got a little bit memeified, which was the whole his parents plotline with the whole punk rocker scene at the end. I loved the punk rocker scene right at the end. It was so emotionally strong with the music choice and the way this was the way things closed, and it was like he's finally accepting his humanity. But you know what would have made it more effective? Having Ma and Pa Kent, like, actually be characters. Because they show up for 5 minutes, and then the end of the movie treats them as though, like, they're one of the most important characters in the movie. Like, it was genuinely shocking when I saw that the movie was choosing to end its tone on that. I'm not saying it was bad. I loved the scene. It's just, like, it didn't fully work for me. There was a bit of missed potential in there. Lex Luthor, the bad guy, he was awesome. He had a fantastic performance. I don't know who the actor is, if one of you could find that out. But yeah, overall, the Lex Luthor was definitely one of the best parts. He was such a Superman hater, and it was super funny whenever he was on screen. I think that overall, each of the plot lines were, like, even though it was overstuffed, each of the plot lines were good. Like, I enjoyed seeing Superman have to deal with knowing his parents were war criminals, and I enjoyed, like, this, like, world breaking apart. I enjoyed the Lex Luthor stuff. I enjoyed each one in a vacuum. I just feel like it would have fit more as a mini-series that got more time to, like, go through everything. Or maybe just to have less stuff going on. Like, maybe you could have left it at Lex Luthor trying to destroy Superman, and then also Superman dealing with his parentage. Maybe you could leave out some of the stuff in the other dimension, leave out some of the stuff with, just leave out some of the extra stuff with the other Justice League members, and, like, this whole, like, realistic war that's going on. I feel like that wasn't necessary. But I don't know. Oh well. This was a good movie. I'm glad that it got as popular as it did, because it's uplifting. It's an uplifting movie. And that's good after the previous Superman movies, which were dark and serious and people didn't like them that much. Okay, next one we have is K-pop Demon Hunters. Yo, my friend told me not to watch this movie, and I watched it because I like watching things that he doesn't recommend and not watching things that he does recommend. I was told that this wouldn't really be my vibe, because it's, like, a K-pop movie, and I don't like K-pop, and, like, I doubt you will find this surprising, but it's not, looking from the trailers and, like, the visuals and the poster here, this looked like it wasn't going to be my vibe, but I loved this movie. I had so much fun watching it. Not, like, the music in this one is good. I feel like we gotta stop pretending that the music in this one is, like, cringy or annoying. It's genuinely, like, good stuff. This is good stuff to listen to, unironically. And, like, look, the story in this one is not, like, strong necessarily, and, like, the romance between this girl, main character, and the other guy, Genu, is, like, it's not that strong, but I was having a good time watching this damn movie. It has a good vibe to it. It has fun plot beats. It is a fun movie overall, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. I had a good, heaping good time watching this movie. I was super invested in what was going on. It was super intense by the end. The music, like, sold the story very well. I don't know. This is a fun movie, and I think whenever I see people who don't enjoy it, I get frustrated, because it's just like, I don't get how you wouldn't like this. It's just, like, fun. Like, it's a good vibe. I don't know, whatever. Fun movie, enjoyed it, 8 out of 10, easy. The Old Guard 2. This movie sucks ass. This movie is bad. This movie is not good at all. Wow. This is a poster for the Old Guard 1. Obviously, I just threw the 2 on there. The original Old Guard was pretty good. Yeah, exactly, Ben Oswald. It's your bad for not enjoying K-pop Demon Hunters. I blame you fully for this, and I expect you to change your opinion accordingly. Anyways, the Old Guard. First one was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good, watchable movie. You can easily tell it's a Netflix movie, but, you know, whatever. It's gonna happen. The Old Guard 2 is barely a movie. It's not good. It's pretty much incompetent. I think I disliked a Minecraft movie more on first watch, but as I watched this one more, this one is just very clearly worse. It's weak. It's not good enough. It's not strong. The Old Guard 2 doesn't have an ending. It's split up into 2 parts. This is kind of a spoiler, but I don't really care about spoiling this movie. It's kind of split up into 2 separate parts, and it just, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, like, there's no climax. The movie doesn't end, and it's not the kind of story where you need to be splitting this up. Who cares enough about the Old Guard cinematic universe to, like, tune in for a next one? This movie has a terrible rating, and people aren't enjoying it. I really don't want to watch the third one, but I honestly might, just because I know it's going to be so bad. And that's really, I don't know if I'll be able to control myself, guys. This movie was not good. The writing and acting was bad. It was hard to get invested in stuff. I guess there was some cool lore going on, but that was really the only thing that made me put it, like, above a 2 out of 10. I gave this movie a 3 out of 10, and yeah, I don't know. This is just really weak, dude. I don't know who made this, but, like, seriously. Okay, moving forward, we have Fantastic Four First Steps. Okay, so, I'll make this one quick, I guess, because I don't really care about the movie that much. This movie had I thought it had a great plot and, like, a great pacing to things, much better than most Marvel movies. It, like, had a super large scale, and it was super exciting. This is, like, got me into the feeling of, like, what Marvel and superhero movies are supposed to be. It was like Superman in that respect, because it was exciting, there was stuff going on, I cared, Galactus is a super powerful threat, and it was super cool watching it all play out. The visuals also are just fantastic. The interstellar scene in particular was just an awesome visual feast. But just generally the colors and vibe and very much, like, noticeable style that this has, that you can see in the costumes there, is just very powerful. However, the characters are really bland. This has maybe my least favorite characters out of any movie I saw from this year. Like, they seriously just don't have anything to do. Like, sure, they're fun sometimes, but this is genuinely some of the weakest characterization that I've seen in any movie. That was so bland and generic and forgettable. That might have been on purpose, but I don't know. If it was on purpose, it was, I think, a bad decision. So, I don't know. Good story, good visuals, weak characters, 6 out of 10 overall. Happy Gilmore 2. I hated this movie. I disliked it so much. This is my least favorite movie of the year. It might be the worst one. I think there is, like, a movie that we'll see right at the end. I hated this movie so much, dude. I gave it a 2 out of 10, and that's, like, mainly because it does have a good first half, like a decent first half, but, like, by the second half, it's just, like, it's not a flipping movie, dude. It's just cameos. It's cameos from the original movie. They'll just introduce a character from the original, or if the actor for them has died, then the son of the character from the original, and just kind of say, look, it's this person. Then they'll play a clip from the original movie where they were in it. And it's just like, who cares, dude? Who cares about that stuff? Like, genuinely, it's so frustrating. And this movie also has cameos that I didn't understand a single one. I was watching this video going through it, and it was like, and the part where Guy Fieri shows up, and I was like, I barely even know who this is. Like, if there are people out there who can rate this movie highly because of bias, since they understand the references, I can rate it lower because I didn't understand a single one of them. The original movie was silly. It was silly crap, dude. But the reason it worked is because it had a heart and soul. It was fun to watch. Adam Sandler was just making a good, solid, fun movie. I gave that one an 8 out of 10 because I really did get a lot out of it. This one is just like what are you doing, dude? Like, genuinely, why would you make this? There's nothing to be gained out of it. It has such a weird tone. Because sometimes it's being, like, the wackiest, silliest, most unserious movie that I've seen all year. And then other times, it's trying to be serious. Like, it's trying to make you feel for Happy Gilmore when he kills his wife accidentally by hitting her with a golf ball. Like this isn't a serious movie, dude. And just the entire second half just doesn't have a plot. It's not funny. It's not, like, interesting. It doesn't have any soul. It's just a bloody commercial cash grab trying to make people enjoy it by throwing in cameos, by dangling keys in front of people saying, do you recognize this character? Do you recognize this character? Don't you love Happy Gilmore 1 so much? I hate this movie, dude. I hate this movie so much. I could rant about it for hours. This is one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen. There are ones that I think are worse, but just out of, like, pure... I genuinely hate this. I dislike this so much, and I'm disappointed because I was the one who chose to watch this. This wasn't anyone else's doing. I chose this to put upon myself because I was curious, and I should not have been. I feel like duh Lord right now. Like, my curiosity is what killed me, dude. Oh my god, I hate Happy Gilmore 2. Okay, moving forward. Great, Nobody 2. Oh, crap. I didn't like this one either. This one is, I think, better than Happy Gilmore 2 because it does have, like, good action and, like, solid pacing. But this is probably the most disappointed I've been by a movie all year. Because unlike The Old Guard 2 or Happy Gilmore 2, I was thinking this one could genuinely be, like, pretty good. This is one that I think could probably, like, carry on from the original, because the original had a lot of mysterious plot points and a lot of interesting things that weren't resolved. The original is flawed, don't get me wrong. It's definitely got a better first half than it does the second half, but it has, like, a good vibe to it. It's, like, interesting. Like, you don't know what's happening. You don't know who this guy is. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing. And it's interesting to see him go through all these insane action scenes and just kind of, like, go along the ride with him. The ending is weaker, I would say. I don't think they carry it on that much, but basically I was excited for Nobody 2. However, when I saw that they were setting it on, like, a vacation thing and I was seeing the marketing they were doing, I was like, okay, so what is this? I was expecting, like, maybe they might be able to pull it off, but it looked like a very silly, unserious vacation movie, and that's what it was. And that's not really great. That's not what you're supposed to be looking for with a Nobody sequel. It's like if John Wick 2 involved him, like, going to Brazil or something, and that's just the movie he ends up doing action anyway, even though he doesn't want to. And yeah, I don't know. I saw this in cinemas and I came out of it like, yeah, nah, not really. The action scenes have cool gimmicks, but they're not really good action scenes. Like, in the first one, I think the most popular scene in the movie is the boss fight scene, and I completely agree. That has got, like, fantastic action. It's got, like, incredible, like, it's very visceral. That's definitely the best scene in the movie. This one doesn't have anything like that. It's just shooting. It's just setting up Home Alone style traps. And look, if you weren't that invested in the first one and you just wanted to see some action, then sure, I think you might enjoy this. But as someone who thought the original one actually had some promise, this is pretty disappointing, dude. Anyways, moving forward, we now have Frankensteiny. This was one of the last movies I saw of the year, and I thought that it was very good, looked fantastic, and has great visuals and whatnot. However, it had kind of a weird story structure and pacing, so that by the end, I wasn't all too invested. This is kind of like a weird feeling movie, if that makes sense. Maybe it was because I, like, watched the second half of it, like, over the span of one night, and I was kind of ready to go to bed, but I don't know. This one didn't fully work for me, but I did think it was very good, and I completely understand why a lot of people are enjoying it a whole bunch. It's got good vibes, good visuals, very gothic, yeah, just, I don't know, overall a good movie. Moving forward, we have Good Fortune. This is a lesser popular one. Yeah, I think it's directed by Aziz Ansari, and yeah, it's an interesting one. I'll say that the movie is by far the best, when it is just Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen basically just going into the human world and just trying to figure stuff out on their own. They have great rapport. Keanu Reeves is like, usually Keanu Reeves doesn't give that great acting performances, if we're being honest, but in this one he is hilarious, dude. He has this scene where he goes into this staff room at this warehouse, and he has like the single funniest monologue out of anything I saw from this year. That's so funny. You got to see it at least like just for that. I will say, like, the movie isn't strong when it's trying to say something that's like powerful. Like it tries to say something about like wealth and power and whatnot. And like Aziz Ansari, the guy who directed this, like, you're really rich, dude. Like, you got a lot of money. I don't think this is the kind of movie that you can effectively make. And yeah, it doesn't work that well for me, but I don't know. I'm able to enjoy I really, really love the parts where it was just these guys vibing in this world, because I don't know, they're really funny. They got a lot of good stuff going on. And yeah, it was less strong when they tried to make it mean something, which is kind of sad, but I don't know. It does have kind of weird structure as well, because we spend 40 minutes with just Keanu and Seth Rogen and no Aziz Ansari, and then they basically go back to this plot line and expect you to be invested immediately. I don't know. I'd give this movie a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed a whole lot of it, but it's definitely flawed. Okay. Wake Up, Dead Man, Knives Out 3. I love both of the previous Knives Out movies, and I love this movie. One of my favorite releases of the year, easy 9 out of 10. This is the kind of movie that really makes you love movies. This is just, like Sinners, it's such a solid story. It's got a solid structure. It's investing the whole way through, and it is just such fun to watch it all play out. From what I can tell, a lot of people don't love the second one, and I agree. I definitely think the ranking is first is the best, second is the weakest, and third is in between the two. However, I did like the second one a lot. I just love this entire series. This one has like gorgeous shots and like lighting and cinematography. It is so fun to watch all of that. It's like seriously like such a good looking flipping movie, dude. The previous ones play on the murder mystery format, and this one doesn't, which is probably the main thing that makes it weaker to me. However, it's just a very, very solid, constantly investing, very much like how did they get away with this kind of movie, and it's just really good. The performances are great. Josh O'Connor, it gives a fantastic performance as this priest, who is honestly one of my favorite characters in the series. I love, with like this one and One Battle After Another and Superman, there are a lot of movies that came out this year that are really uplifting and make you feel really good, and they just kind of like really make you feel for the characters. And this one especially is very much Josh O'Connor going around saying to Benoit Blanc, no, I'm a pacifist, I don't want to hurt people, we need to figure out another way of doing it. And by the end, Benoit Blanc has a bit of a character arc, and it's really cool to see that. This movie has just a good structure, good pacing, a very enticing mystery, and I loved the reveal at the end. I mean, I guess the reveal is weaker than, like, the first movie, but probably not the second movie. There are, like, the characters in this one are ridiculously clever for pulling everything off, but I don't know. It was fun enough to watch that I really didn't care that much. Wake Up Dead Man was an awesome movie. I recommend watching the whole Knives Out series. And yeah, I will say just go into all of them expecting fun stuff, because that's just precisely what it is. Oh, okay. One Battle After Another. This is one of the highest rated movies of the year. I saw it because it was very highly rated, and I was disappointed, but I think that's just because I had very high expectations going in. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's newest movie, and he has a very particular style when he goes about making movies, and I should have gone into it expecting that kind of style. He's also done Punch Drunk Love and There Will Be Blood. I really want to watch There Will Be Blood. But basically, this movie is, yeah, it's just a wild ride the whole way through. It doesn't let up, it doesn't really stop. It's just Leonardo DiCaprio going through this, trying to get past all of these different war generals and trying to find his daughter, and his daughter trying to stay safe throughout all of this. This is kind of a hard one for me to talk about, I'm going to be honest, because it's one that I desperately need to rewatch and, like, figure out if I actually do love it. I gave it a 7. I think I actually gave it a 6 out of 10 at first, and then I moved it up to a 7, and I honestly think I could enjoy it more if I go into it expecting Paul Thomas Anderson. It's very long, but it doesn't feel its length. It's got good pacing, and yeah, I don't know. Great performances. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, they all do, like, fantastic work. Yeah, good movie. Watch previous Paul Thomas Anderson, like, clips or movies beforehand to make sure your expectations are in check. Tron Ares. This movie got a lot of flack, and I don't understand why. A lot of people are saying, like, oh god, Jared Leto, he makes so many bad movies. This is nowhere near one of the worst movies to come out in the year. This is fine. This is just such a bland, fine movie. Except for one aspect, the dialogue is genuinely, like, terrible, and that's the main reason I gave it a 5 instead of a 6 out of 10. But yeah, I don't know. This is just, it's a whatever action movie. This is another one I saw when I was, like, really tired, so I kind of was missing what was going on. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like out of all the movies I saw this year, if I was to be tied for one of them, Tron Ares is probably a fine one to do that for. It looks very good. Like, it really goes into that style. It has cool lighting with the vibes and whatnot. Yeah, painfully average is a very good way of describing this movie. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. I wouldn't recommend it to people just because, I don't know, it's a flippin' action movie. What else do you want from me, mate? Moving on. Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist. This is not a movie. It's not a TV show. It is literally just a YouTube video that is long. However, it was on Letterboxd for a short amount of time. And because of that, I am going to talk about it because, oh my god, dude. Holy crap. What a fantastic flipping video. Oh my god. This is one of my favorite horror movie YouTube videos to come out. Like, genuinely, it is so effective, dude. And it started a immediate hyperfixation on the Yellow King. Like, holy crap, dude. In case you don't know what this one is, this is a video about a Minecraft ARG, and it just kind of goes through and describes it. It's one of those ones, but it is done to freaking perfection here. This is a fantastic one. I recommend, like, honestly, if you haven't seen this yet, I'll be done in, like, 20 minutes. Watch it after this stream is done. Just go straight into it. Trust me, it is so flipping worth it. This is a fantastic goddamn story. It was so, like, I was genuinely pretty scared while watching this. It's probably the most scared I've been by something. Actually, not the most scared I've been by something, but definitely up there the whole time around. And it was like, I was so worried at multiple points because, like, there's music that plays throughout the background. Whenever that went quiet, I was dreading. I was basically on the edge of my seat, worried that a jump scare was going to happen. It is, like, the most worried I've been about jump scares, I think, like, in my life, dude. The lore behind it is so interesting, and the more you look into it, the more, like, terrifying it becomes. There are some, like, massive structures. As you can see in the background here, there's, like, a super massive cave with a bunch of trees. It's so awesome to look at. It is such a well-made story. It's like decently well written too. Like, it, instead of having a very stupid protagonist who gets beaten by just an evil entity, it is a very smart character that gets bested by an even smarter entity, and it is so much better to see that happen. Saying that this is the Minecraft movie we deserved, Ben Oswald 6686. That is genuinely the best review I can think of this movie. That's beautiful. That's brilliant. Yeah, this is the movie we saw. I reviewed beforehand was a Minecraft movie. This is the flippin' Minecraft movie, dude. I love it so much. I'm gonna love it so much more. I've watched many Wi-Fi's videos after this one. Wi-Fi's, I don't know how it's pronounced. But Jesus Christ, what a fantastic video. Maybe my favorite thing that I brought up on this list. Jesus Christ, that was fantastic. Okay, now that we're done with that, the main reason that I added it was because the next one that is coming up is much worse. This is Troll 2, not the one you see on the poster here. It's one in the background. I'll actually, hold on one second. Troll 2 2025. Obviously, this one is a sequel to the original Troll, which is very similar with what it does. Think of it as like a Godzilla monster movie. This Troll 2 sucked. It sucked so much. This is a very bad, poorly made movie. It's basically just got the structure of they wake up this evil troll. The troll goes around and starts destroying things. They pull up another troll to try and defeat it, and eventually they defeat the troll. And it's really flippin' bad, my guy. Oh my god. What the flip, dude? What happened here? This movie has really weak dialogue. It's full of quips, it's full of characters who feel like very similar, and they don't feel like they react realistically to anything that is going on. The main character in this movie incites like all of the conflict, and there is never any discussion of why she did that. She is the one that wakes up the troll in the movie who goes on to eat many people. That was her flipping fault. That was her mistake. And there is no retribution or even discussion that she did that. It also has the single worst self-sacrifice I've ever seen in any movie. It is so obvious. They spend like 5 minutes building it up, and it's just like it loses all the tension that it could have had. It passed like an hour ago, dude. Oh my god. And like the worst thing of all is that this is a movie where you would see from the posters and assume that it is like two trolls going head to head and fighting. That doesn't happen. There are 2 scenes where the trolls actually fight each other. The first of which is barely even a fight. It's literally just the evil troll stomping on the ground and destroying the ice underneath the other troll so it drowns in the lake. And then the second one is the evil troll just wins again. It's not a fight. It's just the evil troll beating up a different troll. This movie was very bad. I did not expect it to be good, and it's one of the worst movies I've seen. I haven't seen that many bad movies, but this is definitely one of the worst ones. Okay, yeah, so that is the end of the movie section. Thank you all for getting through that. Now we are moving on to the games. As you can see here, they are not necessarily from 2025. However, they are games that I got in 2025. Okay, I'll say this now. I don't play new games all that much. I'm very much one that kind of plays the same ones. I've spoken about Geometry Dash a fair bit. That takes up a lot of my time because like I just like seeing new levels that pop up there. But anyways, games in 2025. Let's just get straight into it. Backspace. Backspace was recommended to me by one of the people on this channel. They commented and said like, hey, you should play this game. I'm pretty sure they made it, and I'm very glad that they reached out to me because this is a cool game. Like I said before, I haven't actually played through all that much of it. I got it like a fair few months ago, but I haven't actually played through a whole lot of it. But nonetheless, it is a good game. It is got good dialogue. It is very fun. It's got cool visuals. Like I said, I've played like half an hour of it, but it was a very good half hour that I played. I hope that I'll be able to get through more of it, like in the next couple of weeks or so. Next up, we have got Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4. Wow, okay, this is a can of worms. I've spoken a lot about Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 in the past. I'm not sure I still need to. I did the entire ranking video, the entire boss ranking, and the Shadow Mantle route, and the review of the 2 chapters, which I would phrase some of that a bit differently. Speaking of phrasing things differently, I will say I got a lot of flack in the Deltarune boss ranking for putting the Water Cooler and Gerson low. If I were doing that now, I reckon I would be able to voice those concerns in a better way. But I probably wouldn't actively change their placements because Gerson still is a kind of a weak boss fight to me, and the Water Cooler is still frustrating. I can get why people were annoyed at that video, but I was definitely focusing on the editing more than any other aspect, so I don't know. These 2 games are good. Surprise, surprise. They're very good. I think I liked them less than all of the very hardcore Deltarune fans, but I don't know, still good. Still a good series, and yeah, overall. Well, sorry, next game. If you want to see my thoughts on this more, just go watch the literally like 2 hours of content I've put up about it on the channel. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I got this game. I've played about an hour of it, and it is very good. Great visuals, great vibe. It's very cute. It's very fun to look at. I'm not usually a big fan of the style of game this one is. I don't think it's necessarily a castle. What? Hold on. I don't think it's necessarily a Metroidvania, but it's like it's similar in some ways. And look, anything adjacent to a Metroidvania, I think I don't like at all, which is a shame. But you know, oh well. Yeah, good game. Hope to play it more in the next coming weeks. Dance of Fire and Ice. I beat all of the main levels in this game, all of the time trials, but I haven't played too many custom levels. I'm a big fan of rhythm games. I think that this one is a good rhythm game. I liked the levels that I've gone through. There's like, I feel like it's not as strong as, say, Geometry Dash or Beat Saber because there's less to do with it. I think there's like less creativity that can be had. But nonetheless, this is a cool flippin' game. I enjoyed it a bunch. I have a friend who is way better at it than me. So yeah, I don't know. Good game. Oh well. Hades. Whoa, Hades. I like Hades a whole flippin' bunch. I've played this game a lot. I've not beaten it. I've gotten to, I think, the third boss fight. So, like, the final boss fight on the third level. And I did not get very far in that. But this is a cool flipping game. I like rogue... I think this is a roguelike. I like this style of dungeon, going through, like, each dungeon a whole bunch. I like it very much. And... Sorry, I'm finding it hard to think. Sorry, I can't speak for that often. I don't know how long the stream has been going for. I think like around about 80 minutes or so. So sorry, I'm not speaking as well as I could. But nonetheless, Hades is a great game, and I'm still trying to beat it. I'm a big fan of these, you know, going through different like dungeons, and each one is randomly generated. I played a lot of Ziggurat, which is this PS4 game, a while back. And I enjoyed that one. I'm enjoying this one. I like all the Greek mythology elements. I think it's a very good framing device. Yeah, this is just overall a really good game, and I've played it the most, other than Deltrian, I've played the most out of all of the games on this list. Definite recommend, because it's very fun and whatnot. I understand why so many people like it. Pools. I beat Pools. It's not very hard to beat Pools because it's not a game that's like difficult gameplay. It's just kind of going through these worlds. This level has awesome graphics, and it's got a very cool vibe. I'm a big fan of the Dreamcore aesthetic, and that's the main thing that got me to play this game. There are a lot of like insane rooms in this one. There's this super massive room that you go down through on these like 90-degree slides. There's this room with this creepy alien spider thing. There are a bunch of like really cool feeling things that happen here, and I think it fits the backrooms feeling a lot more than a lot of games have done, and it shows a lot of restraint with what it's done, and I'm very glad that it's done that. The main thing that I didn't love were the endings. I think there are two endings. There's one in level 6 and one in level 0. I didn't really love those. I think it's hard to make an ending for a game like this, but I feel like they tried to make it even more intense, and I didn't love how they did that. I don't know. It's hard to describe because this is not a game with a story, so the ending doesn't really matter, but I don't know. I didn't like that as much. This is a cool game. If you like the pool rooms, then you're gonna like this game because it's got some awesome feeling, like very like creepy, ominous stuff about it. It's not like a horror game, I'd necessarily say. It's just like creepy, and I like enjoyed it. If you, I think I'd recommend, yeah, I reckon this is a good one to buy if you like the backrooms. Balatro and One Shot. These are two games I got, but I have not played, so I just put them both in the same can of worms. I really love Dead God Cult in Geometry Dash, so I'd probably really love Balatro. And One Shot looks good. So, yeah, these both look very good. If you enjoyed them, then, I don't know, eat some grass. Okay, the 10 out of 10 movies. These are the movies I saw this year, which I gave a full, definite 10 out of 10. These are not from 2025. These are all outside of it, but I am ranking them from lowest 10 out of 10, which means I loved it, to highest 10 out of 10, which means I loved it a whole heckin' heap. This is the last section in the video, so I'll go through this for the next, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, maybe less. Okay, let's get straight into it. Mad Max Fury Road. This is the last movie I saw in 2025. I literally finished it 4 hours before January 1st, so there may be a little bit of recency bias in this, but whoa, dude. This is one of the most fun action movies I've ever seen in my life. It's got a very simple story, it's easy to get invested in, and it is just like non-stop one fight after another. it is an insane flipping movie. There is so much stuff in this world that goes completely like unmentioned. Like they don't explain much of it to you, and it allows you to pick up on it for yourself, and that's much more interesting than just having, you know, characters explain what's happening. Like there are the war boys that spray these like silvery like spray on their mouths before they do something crazy. There's the Immortan Joe who doesn't make much sense at all. There's this guy on the back of a truck who just plays heavy metal music, and these drummers on the same truck while they're going into battle. Does that make sense? No, but it's awesome as crap. It's sick as hell. I love it so much. This movie is so exciting. The action set pieces and like the actual action itself is maybe the best out of any action movie I've ever seen, because it is just entirely focused on that. The entire last 40 minutes of the movie. That's just basically what it is. By the time in like the third act, when the people on the sticks were starting to like go down onto the truck, I was just like, okay, this is the most sick movie I've ever seen. You know what it is? This movie, hold on one second. Wow, fantastic writing. I feel like this movie is like the embodiment of this image, or just like things like that, because does it make a whole lot of sense? Not necessarily, but it is cool crap. It's like this, but unironic. It's unironically the coolness of those kinds of images. I love it so much. It's definitely one you gotta watch. You're gonna enjoy it the whole way through. Awesome visuals, awesome action, really solid story, shockingly good characterization. Like there are a bunch of different the whole story is like this girl taking these wives to the green place, and the wives, they're very similar but they have different characterization. It's just a good movie, and it's one I definitely want to rewatch. In fourth place, we got Memento. I flipping love Memento, dude. I love Christopher Nolan movies as a general rule, and Memento is right up there for me. It's got one of the most interesting framing devices in any movie I've ever seen, where the main character, Guy Pearce, has short-term memory loss. And so what it does, in order to keep us guessing about what's going on, the final scene in the movie is played the first scene chronologically is played at the start, and then the movie goes to the last scene and goes to the second last, and then the third last, and then the fourth last, and keeps on going until you have all of the context and fully understand what is going on. It's such an interesting movie, and despite all of the crazy time stuff, through the editing, it actually makes a whole lot of sense. It also has the most flipping crazy twist out of any Christopher Nolan movie that completely flips what was happening on its head. If you want to watch this movie, which you do want to watch this movie, then you gotta wait till that, because that is crazy, dude. Do not spoil it for yourself. This has got great pacing. It's constantly interesting the whole way throughout, because you never fully know what is happening. This was the first movie of the year that I gave a 10 out of 10, and it is very much deserving of it. Okay, moving forward, we have flipping Hereditary, dude. Oh my god, Hereditary is like, oh my god, it's probably the most invested I've been in a movie, like, after watching it, because holy crap, dude. This immediately started me onto a bloody Ari Aster, pipeline, because I saw Midsommar pretty soon after this, and I love that one as well. And, oh my god, Hereditary. This movie is creepy. It is ominous. It's the second scariest movie I saw all year after Midsommar, because it's just so like ominous and dark throughout the entire thing. The entire movie is just these family members that just can't fully speak to each other, while all of this demonic, horrific stuff like just boils under the surface until it finally rises to the top. Because, oh my god, dude, this movie has the best storytelling out of any movie I saw this year. This is a perfect example of pacing, of building intrigue, of building characters, and keeping them all realistic and interesting. It also has some of my favorite performances I saw out of any movie last year. Toni Collette and Alex Wolff absolutely steal the show. Holy crap, those people are amazing. One of my favorite reviews of this movie brings up how Toni Collette does in this movie what Jim Carrey does in The Mask, except for horror. and alongside this, like, the dad, despite his lack of screen time, is also just really good. And, like, Charlie, despite her lack of screen time, is also just very good when she's in the movie. There are multiple scenes in this that just like, holy crap. There is, like, the car scene, there is the confession scene, there is everything that happens in the last 10 minutes. And I love how, despite this movie having so many, like, familial elements where it's like just these people working together, the ending of the movie just turns it into something so much greater and bigger than anything any of the other people could have been theorizing. And I don't know, this is just such a fantastic movie. This is an awesome one to watch. I watched it with my friends at like midnight, and it was such an insane movie to see. And yeah, I don't know, love this movie. If you like horror movies, you're almost definitely gonna love this one. Number 2, we got Seven. Seven is so good. It's like Hereditary, but Hereditary is like fantastic when you're watching it. This movie is fantastic when you think about it outside of the movie. So I gave it the edge because of that. Though Hereditary and Seven are very similar levels of quality, in my opinion. This movie is good to watch throughout the entire first 100 minutes or so. It is awesome to see these people go throughout. It's got these like very like disturbing and intense like scenes throughout the entire thing. It's really grimy and dark throughout the entire movie because David Fincher is like very good at creating that vibe. But there are also like little sparks of humanity and hope throughout it. So I was enjoying the movie throughout the first 100 minutes, and I was getting plenty out of it. And then the last 20 minutes happened, and everything just like, okay, never mind. This movie is easily one of the best things I've seen all year. Whoa, dude. Look, Kevin Spacey, he is a terrible person, but he is also a fantastic actor, and he gives, like I said before, one of the best performances that I saw this year. What he does in this movie is insane, and that final scene with the box is just like, I can't stop watching that crap. That is the coolest, most disturbing, most like stylized scene out of any of these movies, and just whoa, dude. It just keeps on happening. It is such a creepy, disturbing movie. And once you fully understand why the killer is doing what they're doing, it is just like, wow, that makes sense. You can understand why they're doing that. And that's a very important part in making this movie as watchable as it is. Usually I watch movies with my family, like with both my dad and my mum. This is one of the ones that I saw while my mum was gone, while she was away, because, wow, this is not the kind of movie you want to watch with people who don't take gore very well. But yeah, love this movie so much. I also watched Fight Club, which is also directed by David Fincher, and that was also fantastic. David Fincher is just overall a really fantastic director. Okay, the final section of this live stream. If you've been watching throughout this, I'm very glad to see you stay here. Hopefully, if you are listening to this, you enjoy the channel, so thank you for enjoying the channel. But let's just get straight into the number 1 best movie I've seen this year, and honestly one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time, Whiplash. Oh my god, I love Whiplash so much, dude. Like, it is just... Look, here's what I'll say. I don't think Whiplash is my favorite movie that I've ever seen. I think that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Bo Burnham's Inside, I do like them more. However, it is the only movie that I've ever seen that I could not say a single bad thing about. I literally can't come up with a criticism for this movie. I literally can't do it. I can't figure out anything that I didn't like about this. It is so solid throughout. Every single scene, something interesting happens. There is almost like no downtime. Things just keep on rolling. You feel like the intensity and like the ambition that Miles Teller has in this movie J.K. Simmons plays this absolutely horrific teacher, and he plays one of the most, like, scary villains in the movie, and he's just an orchestrator. The final caravan scene in this one actually left me weak. Like, I've had trouble standing up after watching it because it was so intense and powerful. There's such an interesting movie with what it's trying to say, how it ignores everything about being good and everything about being bad, and instead just being memorable or not, having a legacy or not. It is such a good way of showing how much you need to give up in order to be able to stay with the, big guys, in order to be great, in order to be grand. This is such a good flipping movie, and on top of all of the interesting things it has to say, it is fun to watch. It's just, like I said before, with all of the storytelling, this one has fantastic storytelling. It's such a great one to flipping watch, dude. I recommend it to basically anybody, as long as you're okay with a bit of like abuse and horror, because this one is shockingly scary. But like, wow, dude, fantastic movie. No notes, 10 out of 10. Okay, that is it. Thank you for watching. I think this one was about a half hour longer than the 2024 one, which makes sense because I saw a whole lot more 2025 movies this year. Overall, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of good movies this year, a lot of pretty flippin' bad ones, but the good ones were definitely worth it. You can see in the description on my Letterboxd account, there is going to be some lists coming up soon where I literally rank them worst to best. Not only the 2025 movies I saw, but also the non-2025 movies. I'm going to put them in separate lists because I can't steal enough from Schaeferless, I think. Overall, yeah, if you watched, thank you very much for watching. This is always a fun thing to do. And yeah, basically I'll just see you next year. Alrighty. Have a good day, y'all. Bye. This video is the best movie I've seen this year. Thank you, Ben Oswald. Dismiss. Okay, good. Perfect. Well timed.